Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from Entitled Parents. Our first post is by Senior Motor. Abusive entitled mom tries to call police on me and gets herself arrested. This isn't my first post on here. I am a 23-year-old nanny and have posted entitled parent stories from that job. But I do also hold another position as a cashier at night, weekends, and I finally have one from this job. So I work as a cashier at a 24-hour grocery store. And this particular store, while we do technically have a corporate office and are a chain, in a way we are privately owned, and the employees are considered the owners because we invest part of our pay into the company. Which, while we have management and supervisors, we are given broad discretion with denying service and throwing people out. Basically, if you have a good reason, and they can see it in our cameras, there is a good reason we are good to go. Okay, now for the story. It was a busy Saturday afternoon just a few days ago, and we were packed to the point the lines are wrapped around aisles, so it is loud, busy, packed and hot. I'm tired and see it's only about 30 minutes till my shift ends, and I'm trying to keep up my nice smile and customer service voice. Briefly to my side I hear a kid yell. He looks about 3-ish. Not like tantrum, but like just angry trying to get mom's attention. I ignore him because kids having tantrums or getting angry is normal. I start talking to the lady in front of me, and I hear the kid, who by the way was actually quite sweet. He yells again for mom. "Mom, I want my juice." Now he was yelling, but it was no way close to a tantrum or a fit. His family was the next in line. Frankly, if he'd been in a different line, I probably wouldn't have noticed at all. In my opinion, he was more like getting mom's attention. And his mom, entitled mom, just snaps. She turns around, grabs him by his shoulders, goes nose to nose and screams as she shakes him back and forth, "You will not behave like this, you brat. I am so tired of this. If you do not stop, you will get a beating when we get home." Now I was shocked, and so was everyone around. She did not say punishment or even spanking, she said beating. Now I was about to tell the lady in front of me to excuse me while I talked to the mother, but she jumped in so fast. She went up to the entitled mom and said, "How dare you talk to your son like that? He is a child, and you should never put your hands on him or threaten to. Then embarrass him in front of everyone." I was proud this lady said something, but I was still going to, and I paged for a manager in the process, 'cause I had a feeling this would go bad. Entitled mom starts yelling back she has the right to do whatever she wants to her son. She could spank, beat, and yell as she sees fit. Now I jump on verbally. "Ma'am, I need you to take yourself and leave the store. Your children and husband, who by the way did nothing during this, can check out, but you need to leave." "Excuse me," she yelled. "You need to leave. We do not tolerate abuse of children or other customers." "You have some both," by screaming at this woman. I turned to the other woman as much as I didn't want to, had to say, "Ma'am, I appreciate your concern, but let us handle this." She wasn't mad, she stepped away to bag her things. I turned back to the mom and she is losing it. "You can't do that. I have the right to shop here. I demand to see a manager, blah blah blah." I swear she reaches a pitch only dogs could hear. At this point my awesome manager shows up. "Hey OP, what's going on?" Before I can speak, entitled mom speaks up. "This bee won't let me check out because she doesn't like how I discipline my child." "That's not true, manager. What happened was..." Before I could finish he spoke up. "Ma'am, we do not tolerate bee calling of any kind in our store, and I need you to be quiet so I can hear from both of you." He turns to me. I then rattle off the story and his eyes widen. Mind you, again, it's a busy day, and other customers are around listening, and about 3 or 4 people jump in to defend me, which thankfully my manager listened to. He turns to the lady and her family. "Ma'am, I need you to leave this store. Your family can finish checking out, but you need to leave. If you don't, I'll call the police." "Checking out, but you need to leave. If you don't, I'll call the police." "Frankly, you'll be lucky if I don't do that anyway with the threat you made." She tries to stand up for herself, but my manager just escorts her out. The family just follow after her, without their food. You'd think this was the end, but nope. About 15-ish minutes later, after I fill out a report with my manager explaining everything, I head outside to get in my car and head home. I'm on the phone with a friend trying to explain what happened with the lady, but as I walk outside I see a police car outside, no lights, just outside. I thought it was weird because I didn't see anyone get caught shoplifting that day, so I shrug and move on. As I reach my car, I hear it. "That's the girl, officer. She's the one who assaulted me and refused to let me shop here." I turn and see the woman from earlier with her kids and husband with 2 cops. I couldn't help it, I laugh. "Are you serious, lady?" My friend is trying to talk to me, but the officer just says, "Ben, can you come here so I can get your side and settle this?" I tell my friend I'll call her back and go talk to the officer. He keeps me away from the entitled mom, but I can still see and hear her. I briefly explain what happened. I told him I believed what she was doing to her son was abusive and that it was not okay. The cop asked for specifics, and I tell him what I saw and heard her threaten, but before the cop can say anything, the entitled mom yells, "I'm his mother, I can discipline as I see fit. I can beat him if I want." Again, I'm wide-eyed with her wording, still using beating, not spanking, and the cop looks just as shocked. "If you'd like, my manager is inside, his name is blank, and he can show you the cameras. And this store actually has microphones so you can hear what she says." I admit that I refused service and called her abusive, but that's it, I never touched her. Entitled mom still yelling. See, she admits to verbally assaulting me and refusing me service because of who I am. "Arrest her." The cop sighs, looks at his partner and nods. He looks at me and says, "Okay, you can go. I'm going to give you this card with an email you can send your statement to about what happened." The cop turns to the lady, and I see the other cop has his hand on the entitled mom saying something to her. I'm assuming it was she was being arrested or investigated because she then shouted, "No, I did nothing wrong. She should be charged, not me. I'm his mom and can do what I want." She tries to leave, and while one has his hand on her arm, the other stopped her. She instantly backs down and goes inside with one of the officers. The other stays with the kids and husband, who hadn't said anything throughout all this, just looking at the ground. I couldn't resist. Before she was out of earshot, I yelled, "Have a good day, Karen." The cop turned and gave me that look of, "Don't push your luck." I shrugged and got in my car and called my friend back to tell her what happened. When I got back to work on Sunday, I asked my manager what happened. He said he showed the video and made a report. Mom got arrested, and we were told CPS would be getting involved more than likely. I really hope that the dad is a good parent, and she's the only abusive one. I hope those kids get a better life, and I hope that poor boy knows he did nothing wrong. I'll update if I hear any more from the cops about the case. Next up, posted by McCready. Entitled mom wants me to take out student loans for our family vacation. This was a few years ago, when I was still in contact with my mother, the entitled mom. I'm proud to say I've went very low contact since then. So when I first started college, I would split the weekends between both of my parents. I would stay overnight Friday at my dad's, since he and my paternal grandparents were the only ones who would offer to pick me up, and then stay Saturday overnight at my mom's. After I got to my dad's, my mom supposedly really wanted to talk to me about setting up loans in person to make it easier. I had a very high GPA and a really high ACT score, so aid covered quite a bit of my expenses, but there was still about another $4,000 a year we just couldn't cover. Since my grandparents offered to pay the full $2,000 of one semester, we just needed to set up a loan for the remaining $2,000. When we get there, she wants to talk to me alone about my loans, leaving my dad out on the porch. When I sit down, she has the aid website pulled up and is logged into her parent account. She then says that we need to log me in to accept the amount of aid. I say sure, let me make sure we have the right amount. She is trying to take out a loan in my name for $8,000, but the website required my permission. We can't even afford the $2,000 as 3 people with our own incomes, so I ask her why the hell she's trying to take out a loan for that much. Her answer, "Well, I figured we could take a better vacation this year, and then we can all make payments on it." People of Reddit, my parents have been divorced for years. Dad has never been invited on a family vacation, but he would have needed to pay more than $2,500 himself for a vacation he can't take. Not only that, but I'm a student with no income for half the year. When I asked how we were supposed to afford to pay that back, she wanted my paternal grandparents to cover what me and Dad couldn't, and she would play the lottery, and if that doesn't work, they could pick up her remaining debt. Needless to say, she was dumbstruck and pissed to hear that I wouldn't authorize that loan and that any loan in my name would go only to my schooling. So to get me back, she backs out of paying my loans. I say fine. I didn't want her or Dad to anyways because my little brother needs to be their focus. Well, this makes it worse and she kicks me out, tells me I'll be homeless, with my dad waiting outside to take me home. Shockingly, it didn't have the effect she wanted it to. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.